Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. Today is a very special episode. This is my annual birthday episode. I am giving you 35 lessons about life, love, and relationships that I have accumulated over 35 years of life. I think this is my third or fourth, probably my third time doing this episode. And these episodes are always so popular. So I'm excited to do them every year. And this list of lessons is probably my most controversial. Isn't that how it goes? The older you get, you just don't care. I'm just at this place where this is my truth. This is my experience. These are my lessons. I don't care what people think. If these help you, amazing. Take the ones that serve you and leave the rest. But we are going to dive in. And before I get started, I just want you to know I'm hosting a live event this week. This is your last chance to sign up. We have had so many people sign up. I've had to increase the capacity on the Zoom room. So if you don't want to miss out, I'm hosting the Move to Secure Attachment 3-day challenge. It starts this Wednesday. All you have to do is go to the link in the show notes and reserve your spot. And you're going to get 3 days of live coaching with me to help you rewire your brain for healthy love. I am so excited about this challenge. I only do it a couple times a year. It's going to be life-changing. So make sure you're signed up. Go use the link in the show notes. And without further ado, let's jump in. Number 1 of the 35 lessons is you have to start with you. I see so many people who want to blame the people in their life. They want to blame their circumstances. They want other people to come in and save them. No one is coming to save you. It's not something that's going to get handed to you, the change that you want in your life. You have to start with you. Anything that you want, it starts with you. And I think this is really important because we're often looking for someone to come in and just tell us exactly what we need to do or what our journey is supposed to be like. But everyone's experience is unique to them. My journey is different than yours. Your journey is different than mine. You have to listen to yourself, start with yourself, decide that you are going to work on you, take full ownership, take full accountability. And that's when things start to change in your life. Not when you blame your partner, not when you blame your job, not when you blame your friend group, not when you blame the town you live in, but when you are willing to say, okay, I'm going to take full ownership and I'm going to work on me. So I think that's something I've always learned. No matter what level of life you're at, you have to take full ownership and look at, okay, what am I doing? How can I work on me? All right, moving on. Number 2, this is a huge one. This is basically one of the foundational things that I believe in my work, which is that we have to let go of the models that our parents had for life and relationships. So many of us are unconsciously living out models that we did not choose, such as marriage is hard, marriage is going to end in divorce, you're likely to get cheated on, you have to be controlling and hypervigilant in your relationships, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I could go on and on, right? Or when it comes to life in general, of work is your most important thing in your life and put everything below your job and sacrifice your health and work for 60 years and hopefully you'll have enough for retirement. There's all these models that we've been programmed with, and very few people stop to think, are these serving me? Is this really the paradigm that I want for my life? And I can tell you that things really start to change when you look at, okay, what do I actually want? And then how do I let go of the programming that's not serving me? So that's number 2, very important. Moving on, number 3, compounding. The magic of compounding impacts every single area of your life. And here's the thing, Compounding can be magical or it can be an absolute disaster to your life. You're either compounding with good habits, with the daily small things that are making you get closer to the version of you that you want to become, such as, okay, I'm reading. If you're one of my clients, you're doing your morning alignment, you're connected to the vision you have for your life. You're learning how to stop and slow down and react with intention and become the secure you, right? Like all these micro little habits that you have every single day, they're either compounding to get you closer to your dream life or they're compounding to take you farther away from it. So use compounding in your favor. Realize that the small things add up. And obviously, this applies to finances, even if you're investing $100 a month, $100 a month over a long period of time adds up, right? Realize that life is long and it's short. But when we realize that life is long and we zoom out, we can see how the daily little micro things that we do every single day are adding up and they are determining the course for your life. So be very mindful of, do I have positive interest, right? I think about like the stock market, right? Like a healthy stock that's compounding up, or am I trending down? Is my compounding actually impacting me negatively based on the negative habits that I have of, oh, I'll hit the snooze button and not work out. Oh, I'll go hang out with those friends who really bring me down and really aren't going anywhere in their lives, but it's just comfortable and it's what I'm used to doing. And you think, okay, I'll do it this one time. But what you don't realize is those small decisions add up and they're determining your future life. So act accordingly. Those micro decisions add up. All right, number 4. This is probably one of my favorites on this list. And it is this: do it scared, do it messy, just do it. That is advice that has changed my life because there were so many times that I was terrified, whether it was going to graduate school to pursue a doctorate in clinical psychology or going on a date with someone who was not my normal type and was really healthy and emotionally available, or starting this podcast, starting the Dr. Morgan coaching brand. I've had so many things in my life that if I had waited till I felt comfortable, till I felt like I had all the answers, till I felt like, oh, it's going to go well. If I would have said, okay, I have to wait until I know that this is going to succeed, y'all, I would have never taken any action and my life would have never changed. So you have to realize that you have to take messy action. You have to move forward when you don't have all the answers. You have to move forward if you're scared. You have to move forward if it's out of your comfort zone. And in fact, if you are scared, you have to retrain your brain to go, oh, that's a great sign that I'm scared. That means it's out of my comfort zone. And that means that it's something that I need to do. So we want to train our brains to respond that way. So do it messy, do it scared, just do it. Take messy action. Whether that is signing up to come hang out with me for this 3-day challenge, you're like, oh, what's it going to be like? I'm telling you, it's going to be transformational. So go sign up. Or maybe it's that you need to have a tough conversation with somebody. Maybe it's your boss. You're really not happy at work and you're just avoiding it. You're avoiding it. Go have the conversation. Don't wait until it feels comfortable. Okay, moving on. Number 5, this is so huge. Health, physical and mental health are your best investment, your most important investment. You cannot show up and give to the people in your life, have the career you want, have the relationship you want. You can't do any of those things if your health is poor, if you don't have good mental health, good physical health. If you don't have energy, I mean, how many of you know this? Like, energy is everything. If I have an empty cup, if I'm completely drained, if I'm exhausted, and it doesn't even have to be physically, if it's like emotionally exhausted and drained, there's no way I can show up and have the kind of life that I want. So, what does this mean? Take care of your health, physical, mental, emotional, relationships. Your quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. I really believe that. In order to have health, we need to have healthy relationships because we are social creatures. As humans, we're designed for connection. When we don't have healthy connection, we are tearing our health apart. We're not able to function at optimal health, at the health that we deserve. So, health is your most important investment. Prioritize it. Take care of your health. Number 6. This one I feel like I have to relearn all of the time, and it's just one that I have written over and over again. I remind myself of this constantly because it's related to number 5, but it's easy to forget. When you feel good, life just flows. When you feel good, life just flows. When things are off, when you feel like you're trying so hard but nothing's working, when you're feeling stuck, when you're tired, you haven't slept well, you're grumpy, whatever, you're disconnected from your vision, when you are operating at a below standard version of yourself, then of course life is going to feel like it's throwing you curveballs, it's throwing you lemons, right? You got to keep making lemonade and you're exhausted. And I just want to remind you that when you feel good, life's challenges don't seem all that bad. When we are operating at our highest and best selves, when we're connected to purpose, when we're showing up securely attached, when we have healthy relationships, right? We have a great healthcare routine, we are optimally functioning, then guess what? Life actually feels pretty easy. So I think sometimes we get so frustrated at the things that are happening in our lives without looking at, well, what do I need in order to respond differently to these challenges? Because life be lifin', as the kids say, right? Like, life is always going to do what life does. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be stress. But if you are functioning well, then life will just flow. Things will figure themselves out. You will get through it. So instead of focusing so much on life's challenges, what if instead you focused on, how do I take care of me to the level that I'm fine with whatever life throws my way? I can respond well, right? Life can throw anything at me. Okay, moving on. Number 7. This is huge. This is really big. I talk with my clients about this all the time. Identity development never ends. We are always working on identity development. That saying, new levels, new devils, baby, so true. As you ascend to new levels in your life, there will be new things that pop up and new things that you have to work through. So, always working on your identity, being crystal clear on who are you, what are your standards, what are your values, what is your vision for your life, what are you moving towards, right? You have to constantly be aware of that, because if we don't continue identity development and we're not aware of our identity, then we're likely to regress back to earlier versions of ourselves, or we just can simply start coasting, and we can really lose track of who we are becoming. So I highly recommend that you always have an identity development practice. This is why I teach all of my clients about the morning alignment. We have this as part of the Empowered.Secure.Loved program. It is a big part of what we do. And I always talk about updating. Like, for me, being able to hit 5 million downloads on the podcast, I had that on my morning alignment for, I want to say it was about 4 years. I had that statement. And guess what? If I just never changed it, then what happens? I'm losing that sense of, well, who am I? What am I do? What am I doing? What am I moving towards? What do I stand for? So now I say, okay, the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast has 10 million downloads and I have a clear direction. So I'm always updating my goals, my identity, who I'm becoming. And it's a big, big piece of what keeps me feeling motivated, driven, successful, happy, healthy. So identity development never ends. Number 8 is set big goals. And I really love the attitude of peaceful but never satisfied. What does this mean? David Goggins talks about this. And you see me, female clinical psychologist, I'm also into Gabby Bernstein and woo woo. And you go, why does she listen to David Goggins? Well, I believe in having all kinds of inputs and mentors and taking the things that serve me and leaving the rest. So yes, I've read David Goggins' books. And one of the things that he shared is something that I still think about most days, which is this attitude of, I can be incredibly peaceful and I can have so much gratitude for the life that I have now and where I am now. So I can have that peace. And at the same time, I can cultivate this attitude of not being satisfied. So that doesn't mean that I'm ungrateful or that I feel like something's missing. That's not it at all. But not being satisfied to me means I'm aware that I have potential to grow. I'm aware that I have potential to help more people, to do bigger things, that I want to live to my full potential, right? And I think this attitude is so important, of that duality of gratitude and I'm never satisfied. Both of those at the same time. So peaceful, but never satisfied. Set big goals. We need to be having progress as humans. We need to have this awareness that we're moving towards something. This is researched in positive psychology. And it's just how we're wired. We need to be able to feel like we're moving towards something. It's not always in business. It's not always financial. It's not always health. Maybe it's that you feel like you're making progress in your ability to regulate your emotions. I don't care what it is. You need something you're working on and something that you're making progress in. This is huge for self-esteem and just for your happiness. So set big goals. All right, moving on. I feel like I could do a whole episode on that one, on number 8, but let's do number 9. This one's huge. Okay, this is big. I think this has changed for me over the years. I think if you had asked me a couple years ago, I wouldn't have said this. So this is interesting. I believe that if you want to really truly change and you want to have transformation, so not just progress, not just, okay, I'm a little bit better, but real, true transformation, you have to decide to change one area of your life at a time. People who are unsuccessful, who are in the personal development space, or who are they're trying really, really hard, what I often see is they're trying to do too many things at once. And that's why when I built the Empowered.Secure.Loved program, you guys, part of me wanted to include a fitness element because I love health and fitness. And I was also a personal trainer in the past. I mean, I have a huge passion for our bodies and how we can use fitness as a way to heal. But guess what? I knew that if I added that fitness component, people would not be successful because they would be doing too many things at once. When you're really focused and you're laser focused on one area of your life, that's when you can make massive transformation. And it doesn't have to be for a year. When you have extreme focus, you can go in on an area for 3 months and dramatically change it. So, for example, when people come into the Empowered Secure Love program, they're focused on rewiring their brain so they can become securely attached and easily attract the relationship they want. And that's the focus. And that's why at the end of the program, we see these massive transformations, right? It's people who went all in on this one area. So I want to encourage you, if you're trying to do all the things, give yourself some grace, pick one area. Maybe for you, it is your relationships, in which case I'll see you inside of the program. Or maybe for you right now, it's your health and fitness, or it's your finances, or it's your spiritual life. Whatever it is, pick one area. Don't try to change everything at once. Okay. All right. Moving on. Number 10, become an intelligent investor. If you've listened to my show, you've heard me talk about this more and more over the past year. It's because the older I get, the more I really believe in this concept, which is that we have finite amounts of time, energy, money, resources, and we have to learn how to be good, intelligent investors of our resources. So, the hours that you're spending on social media, scrolling. Oh, I have so much compassion for you because the apps are designed to get you to be addicted, right? But the time that you're investing there, what do you think? Is that a poor return on investment or a good return on investment? Turns out it's pretty poor. All the research, when we look at social media consumption, that is not a good investment of your time. So that's just one example, right? Maybe you also need to look at what are the friendships you're investing into? What are the relationships you're investing into? How are you using your time and energy? What are you saying yes to that you really should be saying no to? You have to become an intelligent investor with your time and your energy. And honestly, what I've learned is time is the most important investment. There have been financial investments I've made, different programs, mentorship, whatever, that I learned something from it, but looking back, I go, that wasn't what I needed at the time, whatever. But what's more important to me is the time. Like the way that I designed the ESL program is it's not a bunch of fluff. It's not this crazy amount of, hundreds of hours of video content. It is exactly what you need. No fluff, no BS, because I respect the investment on your time. I want you to have exactly what you need. I don't want you to have any fluff. So time wasted is really the worst thing that we can do. You want to become a good investor of your time. So this can start small too. When you think about becoming an intelligent investor, maybe you just start by cutting 5 hours a week of your social media scrolling and you ask yourself, what's a better investment of my time, right? You just want to start thinking about how can I invest my time to give me a return on that investment? Okay. Number 11, and this is crazy because I haven't really talked about this, but this has been going on behind the scenes. You all know that I'm the founder of Dr. Morgan Coaching and the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. And I've been building this heart-centered brand for over 4 years now, close to 5. And what I can tell you is this, that entrepreneurship, and especially if you're like me and you're a heart-centered entrepreneur where you have a mission, purpose-driven business, where I'm an accidental business owner. I never planned on this. It just was so heavy on my heart of helping people, right? Entrepreneurship is the greatest personal development journey that you will ever go on. Founding a business, scaling a business, hiring people, building a brand, putting yourself out there to be seen, all of it is the craziest personal development journey. And as I'm reflecting on it, I just think about how there's nothing else I would rather do. And really, nobody could have prepared me. No one could have prepared me for what it would take to get this brand to where it is. And it's a million times harder than getting a doctorate in clinical psychology, even though that was incredibly challenging. Building a brand, building a business will take everything that you have, and it will cause you to look yourself in the mirror and have full ownership in ways that you would have never predicted. So if anyone is interested in entrepreneurship, I think you need to realize that element, that you will go on the craziest personal development journey you've ever had. All right, number 12, invest in friendships. This goes back to being an intelligent investor. I don't think that we think about this enough because a lot of us get so hyper focused on romantic relationships, which are so important. And you need to pick the right partner if you want to have a happy, healthy life. And you also need to have good friendships. I'm really fortunate that I have some great friends in my life, men and women. And I'm one of those people that I get so insanely busy and I have clients and, podcast stuff and flying around the country for different things that I have to make a list of the friends that I want to invest into. And I have a list and I check the list and I refer to it and I go, okay, who do I need to text? Who do I need to have a call with? Who do I really need to see in person? I've talked about this on the podcast before. I really believe that if you want a good circle of friends and you want someone to be a really close friend of yours, you need to see them in person at least once a year. Go for once a year at a minimum. If you're like me, I have friends all over the country. So I have to intentionally plan to see my core people at least once a year. And it's one of the best investments I've ever made. And also 1,000% quality over quantity, quality over quantity. And you have to let people kind of earn the right to be in that inner friend group. I have definitely learned some things about, once again, being an intelligent investor of my time. And I'm a lot slower to let people in than I used to be. It's not that I don't let people in. I'm just very intentional and I let people earn my vulnerability. And I build secure attachment in my friendships in the same way that I do in a romantic relationship, where I have to see data and evidence and it's reciprocal and the boundaries are honored. And ultimately, I'm friends with people who I can be my secure, authentic self in their presence. But you have to invest in friendships or they will die. If you don't spend time with people, the relationships will die. So make sure you're investing. If you're like me, and you have a busy, busy life, make a list. Who are your core 5 to 10 people that you want to be friends with when you're 98? And make sure you're spending time with them and make sure you have at least one in-person time with them per year. Okay, number 13. This one's kind of fascinating. And it's this: dark motivation only works temporarily. What do I mean by this? Dark motivation is the kind of motivation to change your life that is about showing people that you're good enough, that is about anger. And maybe it can be, well, my dad never paid attention to me, so I'm going to do something great that's going to force him to pay attention. Or it can be, all these people said that I wasn't good enough. I had this one person that made fun of me. I can think back to different instances that I used to use as dark motivation. Like people in my DMs when I first started my brand that would tell me, "Oh, you're a psychologist. You can't be on Instagram." And fast forward to, I don't know, the thousands of psychologists who are now on Instagram. But like early days, I had people doubting me, telling me I couldn't, all kinds of shit, right? And That is dark motivation. But I will tell you this, dark motivation is like jet fuel. It propels you forward quickly, but it burns out. So if you are really interested in changing your life or doing something great, you also need positive motivation. You need that light. I think of it as like bright white light energy. If you're spiritual, you know what I mean, okay? It's like the positive energy that we are all love and we're all connected and we want to do things that add value to the world, right? Like positive energy, positive motivation. And I think of this energy as steady, stable energy that pulls you forward instead of pushes you from behind. Okay. So, I really love that one because I wish that somebody had told me that, because I think there were times that I kind of ran out of dark motivation and I was like, oh, I'm not motivated. But what happened was I had to realize I needed to find new motivation. I needed to find that steady, stable, positive motivation to change my life and to keep building the things I'm building. Um, Number 14, I can't believe we're already to 14. Number 14 is this. This is so boring. This is simple, but this will change your life. Two things on number 14. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. I know there's going to be exceptions, but I'm telling you, this is a cheat code. Like, do it on the weekends. If you can do this, you will help your body so much. Your body loves predictable bedtimes and wake up times. Okay. And then the other thing for number 14, and this is just something I've learned this year, you need to drink electrolytes. My favorite brand is Element. They're a Montana brand. I've actually talked with them about partnering. It's probably the only brand I've really considered partnering with because I use them every single day and they've made a dramatic difference in my energy, how hydrated I am. So drink electrolytes and drink water all throughout the day. All right, you ready? Number 15. What's the best way to have a healthy relationship? Become a healthy partner. We attract who we are being, not what we want. So if you come to me, which I have a lot of people that do, and you tell me that you're so ready to have a healthy relationship, maybe you're getting out of a divorce or you just got done with a breakup with somebody that was really toxic, and you're telling me, okay, Dr. Morgan, I will do anything. I just really want to find the right person. I'm ready to meet the right person. I will tell you this. I will say, okay, we need to rewire your brain to help you release your past relational trauma, create new relationship belief systems, help you embody the securely attached version of yourself. We're going to regulate your nervous system. I would help you do all these things that help you become a different version of you. And then attracting your partner is a breeze from there. Once you become the kind of partner that you want, it's easy. It's only a matter of time and you attract healthy love. And what's really cool is you start attracting all of these amazingly healthy partners. And then you're more dating on compatibility instead of just, oh, I want a healthy relationship. It's like, oh, but do we have the same goals? Do we want to build the same kind of life? Do we both speak Spanish? Like, you get to start thinking about these really fun compatibility pieces and not just, oh, I want a healthy relationship. But you have to become a healthy partner and then you will attract a healthy relationship. All right, number 16. I'm going to do two more here. Number 16 is, and this is my honest opinion, alcohol sucks. I am sober now. It'll be a year and 8 months. And here's what I will tell you. I don't need alcohol to have a good time. I sleep so much better. My mental health is so improved. And I see what alcohol does to people, and I see the way people behave when they drink. And I have read the research on the long-term effects of alcohol on the brain, and alcohol sucks. And our society, so many people in our culture normalize it. It is so mainstream and cultural, and I understand why it is so hard not to drink. It can make you feel like an outlier. It can make you feel like you're weird or different. But as someone who hasn't drank in a year and 8 months, I don't know if I'll ever drink again. I always say if I'm in a vineyard in Italy and I have the world's best wine being handed to me, I will probably have a sip. But I will never go back to frequent drinking, weekly drinking, never. And it's because I feel so much better without alcohol in my life. And what I would say is this, like, I understand that there are people who have a good relationship with alcohol, who don't see how it's impacting them. And I totally get it. And I would encourage you, just try it out. Do a sober curious 30 days. And maybe you're someone where your body just handles it really well and it doesn't impact you the way that it impacts me. I also recently found things out through hormone testing that kind of explained to me why I react so poorly to alcohol, because my body does not do a good job of detoxifying on its own. So one drink for me is like other people's 3 or 4. So I realize that we all have our own relationship with alcohol and it's a personal decision. I am not being judgmental if you decide to drink, but I would just encourage you, try it out, see what it's like to not drink, see how your body feels. And if you're anything like me, you just go, well, it's just not worth it, right? Like, there's just other ways for me to have fun. I can be as crazy as somebody who's drinking if I have the right music going and I'm drinking some kombucha and I'm around the right people. Like, I don't need alcohol, essentially. I can be, this sounds so freaking corny, but I'm going to say it. Like, I can be high on life. Okay. I can be positive and in a good mood and relaxed. And I don't need alcohol to get me there. I just don't. And I know I used to need it. And I understand people that do, but that's my controversial one of them. One of the points is that alcohol sucks. All right, moving on. Number 17. I'm actually going to do 2 more. I'll do 17 and 18, and then there will be a part 2 where you get 19 through 35. But here's 17. The people that are meant to be in your life, they are going to love to see you win. When you have friends who are competitive, who put you down when you accomplish something really great, of like, I don't know, I'm trying to think like what would be an example of like, maybe it's like, oh, you got a promotion, but your friend says, maybe they say something to invalidate it, like, oh, but you had that connection with your boss and that other person just left the company. So it was like the right time for you to get the promotion. So they invalidate you or invalidate your success. Those are not your people. Insecure people get insecure when you win. People who are happy, confident, secure in their life, they are going to celebrate you so much when you're winning. So pay attention. How do people respond when you're successful? All right. The final one for today's. This is a really important one. I've talked about this before, and that is that I'll be happy when is a lie. And you have to cultivate happiness on the journey. So if you're telling yourself, I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship, I'll be happy when I have $1 million in the bank, I'll be happy when I have that top rated podcast, whatever it is, if you're tying your happiness to a specific outcome, I guarantee you it's just going to set you up for failure. And it's just a really poor way to live your life. You want to think about, how can I be happy now? What are my core non-negotiables for me to cultivate happiness? And what does it look like for me to feel happy, to feel satisfied while I'm on the journey? And then the things that you achieve, they're just a bonus. But it's such a lie to tie our happiness to external things. I think we do this thing where it's like we have the self-esteem roller coaster. Your self-esteem is tied to your status, your job, what you look like, your money in the bank. It's all these external things. But then we have self-worth, and self-worth is rock steady, rooted in who you are, in your authenticity to yourself, your self-love, right? And you want to say, I am working on my self-worth, and I'm associating my happiness with these core non-negotiables, right? Of like, I am happy because I wake up. I am happy because I moved my body today. I'm happy because I value myself. I love myself. I know my worth. I know I have so much love to give. I know I have so much love to receive. You need to change how you think about happiness, because if you tie it to these external things, what you'll realize is when you get the external things, it's actually a very temporary dopamine hit. It's not actual happiness. And you're always going to move the bar. You're always going to move the bar. So cultivate happiness now. Get honest about what does it look like for me to have high self-worth, and connect that to my happiness instead of connecting it to the self-esteem roller coaster. All right, y'all. I'm sending you so much love. These were the first 18 things of the 35 life lessons. I'm so excited to go celebrate my birthday this week. And I'm so excited to see you live at the Move to Secure Attachment Challenge. I can't wait to see you there. We're going to have so much fun and lots of transformation. So I will see you there. Make sure you go sign up, use the link in the show notes. And of course, I'm wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon.